Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to LinkedIn Tuesdays. Very glad you're with us today. It is February 21st, 2023. And I guess today is Mardi Gras Day. So for those celebrating, I guess this afternoon, go out and throw some beads around or go throw some beads. All right. Please note this event has been recorded and it's currently not live on Facebook because for some reason, Zoom and Facebook do not want to cooperate right now. The recording will be on the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. For those people on Zoom, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please just enter them into the chat window. As Ruth takes a break, we'll be sure to get those questions answered for you. Also, it's a great way to connect with other people on the call. So feel free to put in your contact information, put in your name, put in the companies you're looking for, give us your LinkedIn address, and connect with everybody else who's out on the call, because this is a way you can expand, a way for you to expand your connections. So feel free to put that information into the chat window. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Morse. Back in 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org, a website to help those who are unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I launched a second website, careerusa.org, to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. I'll tell you about our upcoming program at the end of this session. We've got a great speaker coming up this Friday. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team. Remember, your interview skills and your resume and your LinkedIn profile isn't going to get you a job. What it will get you is a phone call. How well you practice your interviewing skills, that's what's going to get you your next job. So be prepared. Practice now, practice their motto, practice early, practice often. Just go to dallaspickcareer.com for more information. Well, we have 4 outstanding speakers who talk about LinkedIn. They rotate through on a monthly basis. Today, our speaker is Ruth Lipsky. She's a career coach for Lehigh Harrison. She helps job seekers every day in their job search. So today, she's going to talk about how to drive recruiters to your LinkedIn profile. So Ruth, thank you very much for being with us, and it's all yours.
All right. If this is Tuesday, it must be LinkedIn Day.
It is.
And they're going to, as Jeff said, there are other people who are talking about different aspects of LinkedIn. We try and cover different subjects, but there's going to be overlap amongst us. And we don't always agree with what each other is saying all the time. So listen, make your own decisions, and move on from there. But all of these are valuable, and they'll all give you some insight into how to get recruiters to find you, because truly, isn't that what we're looking for? There are 2 reasons you want to be on LinkedIn and want to have a strong profile. One is that when you have submitted your resume to a company, the recruiter is often going to be intrigued by you and wants to know more by looking at your LinkedIn profile. Your LinkedIn profile is going to have a lot more information than your resume does, because your resume is normally a very small set of your skills that are designed for that particular job at that particular company. But recruiters are also using LinkedIn to search instead of posting a job. So quite often a recruiter, if they need somebody quickly, will be moving on to LinkedIn using possibly one of the LinkedIn recruiter software systems that are out there. They'll just put in a title, they'll put in a geographic location, they'll put in some skills, and they've got all kinds of people who could fit into the job that they're looking for. This is being used so often that over 1/3 of all job offers made by major companies these days are coming from a recruiter going out onto LinkedIn in order to search for people, instead of posting a job on the job boards, waiting for the resumes to come in, sorting them out. Recruiters are using LinkedIn more and more to find specific people with talents that they need today. So the best way to get a recruiter's interest is to know how they're using LinkedIn and how the LinkedIn algorithm works. So let's start off by saying that LinkedIn calculates a score for your profile every day. And it's based on everything you do on LinkedIn. So it will take into account what content you have, how complete each section is. If you are doing job searches, if you are networking with other people, if you are engaged on the homepage, anything you do on LinkedIn is going to contribute to your score. Your score goes down when there's no activity. And you cannot see your score. LinkedIn does not share that with you, nor does it tell you what the point value is for any of these activities that you can be doing on LinkedIn. We know some things based on what we're seeing in the job searches. We know that if you write or receive a recommendation, that counts for more than if you give or receive an endorsement for a skill. One requires more detail, more time, more thought. And the other one is simply, I'm clicking this skill because I know the person has it. So we can probably guess at some of the scoring, but we don't know all of it. So we're not going to talk about that in detail. We just want you to know that there's a score associated with your profile and it changes. When a recruiter is doing a search, and this one is on LinkedIn Recruiter, they're generally going to start with putting a title. They're going to put in a location, and they're going to put in a couple of skills. With that information, this recruiter is getting close to 43,000 candidates who fit the basic requirements listed there. Now, of those 42,798 people, these people came up as the first, second, and third choice. LinkedIn does not do anything randomly. There's a reason these people were brought up to the attention of the recruiter to the top of the page. And it's probably a great deal about how active they are on LinkedIn and how complete their profiles are. So we're assuming that these people generally have more information that a recruiter would be interested in to be brought up to this extent. Now, the recruiter does have other sorts that they can take advantage of. So they can look at things like being open to new opportunities, having company connections. Here they are over here. They're called the spotlight features. And when somebody is open to new opportunities, it means that they filled out the section on the profile page that indicates that they're interested in a new position. And it can either be the recruiter only can see it, which means that the recruiters who are using LinkedIn Recruiter software can see it, but no one else can, or you can make it visible to everyone. LinkedIn is telling us now that if you have the banner on your profile headshot that says #open to work, you will receive 40% more messages from recruiters than people who don't have that. So take that into consideration. LinkedIn is telling you that there is no stigma associated with being unemployed. The way companies have been merging and the acquisitions and shutting down departments, and then the pandemic, and more recently the cutbacks that we're seeing in high tech, it's no shame to be unemployed. A lot of people are, and a lot of those people are extraordinarily talented, and recruiters want to be able to find them. So being able to say that you're open to new opportunities is a good thing, because recruiters are using that as an indication that they can contact you and be assured of you being able to interview promptly, taking a job quickly, and probably staying with the company. So other things in the spotlight, having a company connection. Have you become a first-degree connection to anybody in their company? Engaged in your talent brand, are you following that company's LinkedIn page? That will allow you to see more of their information on the homepage. Likely to respond is another one of those features that LinkedIn collects, calculates, but won't tell you anything about. So on your message tab of your LinkedIn page, if a recruiter sends you a note and says, looks like we've got a job that fits your profile, looks like you've got the skills, you have time to talk. And if you ignore that, then your likely to respond score goes down. If you respond, even if it's a message that says, not interested in this type of role, I'm more interested in this type That's all you need to say. Just a couple a couple of words, and you replied. So likely to respond is going to allow the recruiter to choose the people to send an invitation to that are more likely to read it and let them know if they're qualified for the job and they want to pursue an interview. Past applicants, the more often you apply to a company, the more interested they are in you. So here's the summary. It's been a surprise on the LinkedIn algorithm that they are putting mutual interest as being more important than the actual title and skills that they're looking for. So LinkedIn's algorithm is trying to find people who would be interested in being part of that company, knows people within the company, probably knows a little bit more about the culture, the products, the activities that are associated with that company. And that's more of an indication to the recruiters and to the hiring managers that this person is going to be interested and is going to stay with their company for a longer period of time. After that, the algorithm is going to look at the relevance to the job itself, the title, the key skills, and the skill quiz particularly. So let's increase our visibility to the recruiters, and we're going to concentrate on the things that the recruiters are most likely to see and want to be able to view more carefully. One of them is going to be the headline. If you notice that when we saw the results of a recruiter search, there was really very little information that was being given here. You can see that we've got the name, the headline, location, and the last couple job titles. There's not much information for the recruiter to go on, and it's a pain to look at each person's profile to find out more information and see if that person truly is qualified, has all the skills, recent skills that they're looking for. So knowing that there's very little information other than the job title, which is 220 characters now, make use of it so that you can talk about all the skills, all the titles, what your value proposition is. It used to be that we would want to show titles because we knew that that was one of the keys to the algorithm. So most of the time we're going to put one or two titles through here, maybe accountant as well as senior accountant, but being able to say something like increasing productivity in highly regulated industries is going to give the recruiter a lot more information to deal with about whether they want to look more carefully at that person's profile and whether this is enough information for them to be able to send an invitation to talk about a job. Notice that the higher you are in an organization, the more strategic your headline should be. So if we're looking for a VP level, creating value for business through effective marketing strategies, that's going to give a lot of information about what they do, not as much information about how they do it. Same thing with this director level job, helping the world become more customer centric. Doesn't talk about the skills needed to get there. It talks about this is what I can do for you. Now, if you're in a highly technical job, certainly being able to put down the skills that you feel you have strong talent in and want to use in your next job is going to be the best way for a recruiter who's looking for a full stack application developer who has these skills. Now they know. You can get a little bit more humorous. IT project manager, I can explain high tech to my mom. Introvert living in a department of extroverts. Be careful about using too much humor though, because not everybody's got the same sense of humor. But these are eye-catching, and depending on the job will depend on whether the recruiter is going to respond to this with interest. Now, the skill assessment is something that came up about a year and a half ago. LinkedIn used to rely on the endorsements for a skill in order to determine how talented a person was in that skill. Well, recruiters found out that endorsements didn't necessarily mean that at all. Quite often it only meant that they had a pretty good support group in LinkedIn that was willing to endorse. So LinkedIn created tests for different categories. technical, business, and design. The skills are going to be an indication to the recruiter that you truly do have a good comprehension, a good skill level for that particular area. And LinkedIn is telling us that if you do have a skill test and the job requires that particular skill, you're 20% more likely to get hired for that role. And that's a great way to get ahead of other people who might not have bothered to take a test. The test itself, 15 to 20 multiple choice questions. It's a timed test, it needs to be taken in one session. You only need a 70% or better in order to pass the test. And when you pass the test, you get a badge that appears next to your skill. It's only valid for 12 months because LinkedIn feels that most of these technologies give updates, have new versions, introduce new activities and possibilities. So they want you to take the test on a yearly basis to make sure that you're using the full package that's out there. Now, if you fail, if you get below a 7-day, nobody's going to see that. That's not entered anywhere that a recruiter could see. But you cannot retake the test for 3 months. And if you fail it a second time, then it's no longer available to you. But here's how a recruiter searches for it. We saw up here that a recruiter could look for a title, could look for locations, could look for skills. Well, underneath of that, it says, do you want to look for people who have passed tests if we have a test associated with us? And the skills they're looking for this software engineer, JavaScript, Swift, and Ruby on Rails all have tests associated with them. When the recruiter says, yeah, tell me everybody who has passed at least one of these, up to the top comes the people who have passed the test, and it will show all of the tests that the recruiter is looking for and which ones have been passed. So taking that test brings you to the top of the list quickly for a recruiter. And taking a test and not passing it doesn't really hurt you. The skills section needs to be the area where you're putting in the skills that recruiters are looking for. You probably have 1,000 different skills that you could list out, but you need to be able to be putting into your LinkedIn profile the ones that are most important for the next job that you want. LinkedIn has just recently put out the list of skills that are needed by recruiters in 2023. And I know we're only 6 weeks into the year, but these are the skills that are most sought after in 2023. It doesn't have to be in the skills section. You need to have it somewhere in your profile. It can be in your headline. It should probably be in your about section. You may want to put it in the experience section, or you could put it in the skill section. But these words need to be somewhere in your profile, generally more than once, because the more often you say you have a skill, the more LinkedIn feels that it's a strong skill. Now, a lot of people are still wanting remote work. And if you want to be looking for working from home roles, you may want to put into your skill section the self-management skills, active learning, resilience, stress tolerance, and self-motivation. You can put in your about section, would prefer working from home because I have skills in, and then list these 4. It gives more of a compelling statement rather than I want to work from home because I want to keep up on my laundry. Being able to have reasons for everything you do is an easier way to sell yourself to a recruiter. Now you can check your skills on LinkedIn, and let me go to my profile so that you can take a look, because it's easier to do it that way rather than follow all these links. But the other thing we're going to be talking about is adding more content. Most people are pretty good at taking their resume and copying it and pasting it into the areas of LinkedIn that correspond to those areas. And that's good. We need to be doing that because LinkedIn started out as your online resume. But there's a lot more to it at this point. So we'll go on to my resume or my LinkedIn profile. Let's pause here and see if there's anything in the chat room that we need to. Jeff, anything we need to be looking at here?
No, not yet.
Okay, good. When we're taking a look at the headline area here, 220 characters, use a pipe, this straight up and down thing, to separate out the different parts of your profile, because that means or in LinkedIn. So you're being able to separate it out and you're able to make it easier for the recruiter to be able to find you with the words they're looking for. The open to work area, I don't have the banner on mine, but you can certainly do that by adding it in down at the bottom, where we're taking a look at, do we want all LinkedIn members to see this? Where we put the hashtag open to work, or do we just want recruiters? I'm just saying that I want recruiters, but you should probably, as long as you're not looking for an executive role, executive roles normally don't use that hashtag open to work, but pretty near everybody else does because they're more visible and recruiters are being drawn to those folks as available. Let's go. Being able to look at your analytics is also going to be an important part of your LinkedIn activity. You want to make sure that people are seeing you. You want to see that you're appearing in searches. So when a recruiter is doing a search, are they finding you? Are you coming up in the first 1,000 or so? And being able to watch your analytics so that as you add more to your LinkedIn profile, you're seeing that you have more activity and you're being found more. In your experience section, we know that the title that you have is going to be important for the search, but a lot of people have titles that don't really say what they actually did. So in my case, I'm known officially as a career consultant, but career coach is also used a lot in the industry. I'm translating my title so that every recruiter will know what I am, what I can do. So being able to put into your experience section, not just the title that the company gave you, but what other ways the organizations, the companies, the industries may see you is going to be able to make you found more often. Now, in a previous role, I had one title, but I actually did something that was a little bit different. And I want to be able to find jobs that are associated with being an instructional designer, an e-learning developer, because that's really what I did. My job was to take the material we had for on-site learning, put it online so that it could be used on demand and in alternate sites as a consistency. So I may have had one title from the company, but in parentheses, I put in the job titles that I felt that I could do based on the type of work that was assigned to me. Do that for every job you've had so that recruiters know what you've actually done and they don't have to guess as to what you were part of. Now, there's other information that LinkedIn is going to allow you to have. It's going to say that you can have licenses and certifications. You can put in what you did for volunteering. Your skills, of course, you've got up to 50 of them. LinkedIn is going to break them out into industry knowledge, tools and technology. And this is where you're going to find the ones that you can take the tests. I passed 3 of them. And then you've got the interpersonal skills. Make sure you've got a balance in your skills so that people see what you've done technically, but they also know that you've got some people skills in there too, that you can solve problems, that you can communicate. Make sure that you've got enough in there that they know who you are when they're hiring you. Recommendations, courses. LinkedIn allows you to add courses that you have taken. And they can be courses you've taken outside of work. If you've taken something that was at a community college, at a college that is separate from the ones that you have listed. But you should also put in the classes that you took that had to be done on a yearly basis. Probably came from the compliance team or the legal team. But if you had to take a class on a yearly basis, go ahead and add that into your profile because it indicates the importance of that. And you're telling a new company that you know the value of it and you're willing to take it again and again and again. So put in the courses that you've taken either as part of your management training or just new product training in a company, but also put in those classes you've taken that are more government required. You can also add in projects so that you can put in a bigger part of your story. If you take a look at your resume has bullet points and they're fairly short bullet points. They don't tell the full story. LinkedIn gives you a huge amount of space to be able to expand on the projects that you've taken, gives you an opportunity to put in a lot more keywords, a lot more indication of what your management style is by your activities and your actions. But being able to expand the words that you have in your LinkedIn profile is going to make you more searchable, more findable. It also allows you to put in the organizations that you belong to so that you'll be able to be a little bit more comfortable telling people what it is that you've done. Now, where do you put all that? All of that comes into the add profile section. So being able to add in the information here, core information, recommended information, and then additional information. Honors and awards, good one, as long as they're work related. Test scores, generally no. Not if you've been out of college for more than a year. You don't need your grade point average or what your SATs were. But use this area to expand on the information that you want people to know about because it makes you more hireable. And when we're trying to find the skills that are associated with a person, you're going to go to this More button. And in More, you're going to build a resume. And when you build a resume, LinkedIn says, do you want it built from your profile or do you want to upload something? Well, we're going to create it from our profile because we want to make sure that the words we have that are searchable are in our profile. So they want to know a job title. Well, I'm a career coach, but if I decided I wanted to change careers and wanted to become a software engineer, how close would my profile, which is heavily into career coaching, match as a software engineer? LinkedIn tells me over here, we're checking for software engineer and we found a couple words that are good, but they're also saying, here's some words that you're missing and you really ought to consider adding these to them. So software development, Java, JavaScript, SQL, there's probably dozens more, but LinkedIn is trying to tell you just a couple hints on, do you have a complete LinkedIn profile? Are you talking about the skills that you say you want to be able to use for your next job? So use that. It's a nice double check. Ability to add a few more words to your profile that LinkedIn thinks you should be looking for. Now let me go to the Jobs tab, because the Jobs tab has added something recently that is pretty cool. Let's just say we're looking for a project manager role. And we're going to use the filters that LinkedIn has created. And in this case, we're going to go all the way to the right to this all filters. LinkedIn has recently added the ability under job collections to search for green jobs and to search for hiring based on skills. There are two different types of jobs within green jobs. One of them is going to be the companies that create products or services that deal with the environment. But the other type of job in green jobs are non-green industry jobs, but these companies are looking for people who can come into their company to make it more environmentally friendly. So if you're interested in moving into more of the green technology, into the environment, you can click on that and the jobs that are going to come up are going to be more related to that. Now, hiring based on skills is a good one to be looking at too. 72% of jobs out on the job boards require a college degree, but only 36% of the public has a degree. So we've got a huge mismatch between what companies are looking for and what people have. So these are companies that are going to be saying, we may have said that we wanted a college degree, but if you've got the experience and have done this job before, we will consider you seriously, just as seriously as if you had that degree. So if you're in a position where you want to change careers, but you're concerned that you don't have that required degree, use this hiring based on skills in order to find the companies that are a little bit more flexible in that. Okay, on that one? This is just rolling out, by the way, because I just found this last month, and it takes LinkedIn several months to roll it across the United States. So if you don't see job collections, or if you only see one of these under job collections, patience, it's going to be coming. You just haven't been part of the rollout yet. All right, so things that we tend to like to look for are the networking opportunities, because as you saw earlier, the recruiters are looking for people who have connected to people within their company or have connected to their company in general. So if somebody could tell me a company that they're looking at seriously as a possible job opportunity, we'll do a search for that. If you want, you can unmute and just shout it out.
Boeing Airlines.
Okay, Boeing it is. Boeing. There you go. There could be a lot of Boeings through here, but you're generally going to be looking for the company, and it's got the logo. Here it allows you to immediately follow the company, which is going to drop it into your LinkedIn profile interest page. But we're going to go ahead and view the page because there's more here that we really want to see. So when we're taking a look at Boeing, we can see that we've got some tabs for home, about, post, job. Let's take a look at jobs. If this is one of the companies that you are truly interested in and you're going to be looking at them on a regular basis for job openings, you could go here. It's generally better to go to their company page because they will have more jobs on their company career page than they will here. But here you can create a job alert for them. And when you create a job alert, it means that you can put in a title, and you can put in a location. And then you can set up a job alert, which means that anytime LinkedIn posts a job on LinkedIn, anybody from Boeing posts a job on LinkedIn that matches the skills that you've got, the experience that you've got, LinkedIn is going to push back to the recruiter and say, about that job for software engineer, there are 8 different profiles of people who match the criteria you're looking for and who have expressed an interest in your company. You may want to look at them first. And you know what? They will. Recruiters will take a shortcut whenever possible. So you can create up to 8 per company, but you really only need 1. Although LinkedIn gives you the ability to create that many, 1 is all you need in order to indicate that you have an interest in that company in this general field.
Can we take a look at the other Boeing that's over there on the right-hand column?
Aviation and aerospace one?
Yeah, since this one didn't have any jobs to show. This one's got a lot more. Oh yeah, there's 20.
This is the one that has them.
Right.
Once again, you can create a job alert. If these are 2 different companies and you think that there are 2 different hiring groups for them, you may need to have a separate job alert. But remember, LinkedIn only gives you 20 altogether, and some of them you want to use on your jobs tab, but others you want to put in companies that you're targeting. Now, the other thing you want to do here is it talks about people. And when you look at this people tab, it's going to tell you that there are nearly 106,000 employees in Boeing. And it's going to give you 2 sets of information in these columns. And let's show more right now. But it's where they live and where they study. Well, if we're looking for people within Boeing, we're probably going to want to start with the United States. But that only narrows it down to about 95,000. So we're going to use this next feature because it gives us two new columns. One is what they do. This is what department they work in. What they're skilled at, well, that might be helpful too, but really finding out the people who are in the department that you're interested in is going to narrow down a bit more. If we click next again, it tells us what they studied, but it also tells us if we're connected to anybody. So if you click on this first, it'll tell me I've got 3 people I know that I'm connected with at Boeing. These would be the people I would immediately send a note to. I have just applied to a job as a software engineer at Boeing. Do you know who the hiring manager is? Would you mind sending a reference or a note to either that person or the recruiter to let them know that I'm interested? Being able to utilize the people in your network is going to be helpful. But instead of a first degree connection, let's say that I only have second degree connections. So we're going to click on the second, and I've got 251 people who are not in my network, but are in somebody else's network, and I'm connected to that person. So there are a lot of people through here that I can be looking at, and I may want to go back and narrow it down to a department or to a person who is in an area that I think is going to be important to me. Never use the white connect button because that's going to send the automated message of, I'd like to be part of your network. You really want to be able to say more than that. You want to personalize it. And to personalize it, you're going to click on their name or their picture, and you're going to go to their profile page. And there's going to be a blue connect button, and a connect button on a profile page will always allow you to personalize that message. If there's not a connect button here, then you'll be able to find it under the more button, and the more button is going to have connect in it. But they put it out here in this case because it's a second degree connection. Now I'll be able to say, I see we have people in common in our LinkedIn networks. I'm interested in job opportunities at Boeing, would love to connect. Let's talk. Being able to explain why you want to connect is going to be a big part of having them accept. Now, you may want to narrow it down from 251. Let's say I only want to look for people who are recruiters, because those are good people to know. Whoa, 76. Okay. 76 people means that 76 people at Boeing either currently have the title of recruiter or talent acquisition, or have had that position at some time in their past. So you may see a lot of people on here who are no longer in human resources at all, but somewhere in their profile, they had the position of recruiter. Being able to look through and find possibly the people who are most closely related to the type of role you're looking for. Are you looking for a college recruiter? Are you looking for a technical recruiter? Are you looking for an operations recruiter? A lot of people have more information in their headline about what type of role they have. So finding people that you can connect to, normally you'll need 3 or 4 connection requests. Recruiters are more likely to connect with you than most other people, but the ones who have the most complete background, the most complete information, are generally the ones who are more active on LinkedIn and are probably going to be more interested in connecting to you. If we wanted to get rid of all of our sorts except for recruiters, except for United States, we can also talk about finding the people who might be in the hiring realm and are part of the hiring process. So if we wanted to say, I'm looking for people who are vice presidents in engineering. Well, that's more than I thought. So maybe we need to say that I only want to look at the people who are in California. So that's going to narrow it down a little bit more. But sometimes you're able to use your filters to the point where you can narrow it to people you think might be somebody that would be part of the interviewing. And you can connect with that person. Remember, going onto their profile page, connecting with that person by saying, I've applied for the role of blank. Looks like it might be in your department. I have extensive skills in blank, blank, blank. I'd love to talk. Let's connect. It's not a high percentage. It doesn't mean that every time you do this, they're going to come back to you and say, oh my gosh, you're just what we were looking for. Here's the hiring paper. But it does give you an opportunity at least to connect to somebody in the company. And that is going to bring you up higher on the recruiter searches, because now you've connected and you're following the company, and you're also connected to people within the company. And that's important for the recruiter search and the LinkedIn algorithm. So try and find people who could be useful, who could be interesting to you. If you have a first-degree connection, you can say, I have an interview set up for this role. Any suggestions on what kind of answers or what kind of questions to expect? Okay on that?
Good. There was one question Amy asked. Do you find that if you have a more technical role, the skills tests are more valued versus if you're in a leadership role?
They have no leadership tests. All of the skills are going to be very technical or design oriented, because there's no real way that you can evaluate management or leadership or creativity or problem solving. It's all going to be more of the technical side. Good question, though. Everybody's hoping that LinkedIn does come up with something like that, but they say they're not exploring that as a possibility.
Thank you.
One of the pieces of information that you've got on your LinkedIn profile is where you went to school. You can use your school in order to connect with people and to network into companies also. So somebody give me a school, a university, a college that they attended, so we can use that to check it out.
University of Maryland.
Hey. University of Maryland. And since you probably got that on your profile, LinkedIn will automatically add this in as something that you're following. Well, let's view their page. You'll notice that it's winter there now. Whoa, it is. You don't care about jobs because that's not where you're going. But look at this. They track the alumni. And what the University of Maryland is saying is that there are 336,657 people who attended the University of Maryland in the last 123 years and who have a LinkedIn profile. So now let's find out how we're going to use that information. And let's find the people who went to the same school that I did and who are at Boeing. Here we've got 297. It will also, let me open this up a bit. It'll also show you these other companies. And that's because these people worked at Boeing at one time, but are no longer there. These are the people who are currently working at Boeing. So let's click on that. And here it is down here, all of the people. Oh, I love it when you see that hashtag hiring. Good one to have. But you can also use these next buttons to say, I'm looking for the people who might be in the research area. Or I might be looking for the people who have certain titles. But being able to find the people who were at your school, who are at a company you're interested in. Now, when you're sending that connection request to them, you're going to say, I see you also attended the University of Maryland. Go Terrapins? It is Terrapins, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Go Terrapins. I enjoy my time there. I'm interested in job opportunities at Boeing. How do you like it there? Anything you can tell me about the hiring manager for this particular job? The more compelling your statement is on what we have in common and why we should connect, the more likely it is that someone is going to actually connect with you. And normally your first request when you're connecting is just, let's connect because. And then once they connect and you're at first degree, and now you can message them, you can ask those additional questions. I've applied for this job because of my expertise in this. Do you know who the recruiter is? Do you know who the hiring manager is? Do you know what types of questions to expect? I've got an interview coming up. So you can start utilizing that person a little bit more, but finding the people who will connect with you in the companies that you're interested in is going to allow the recruiters to be able to find you because you've indicated mutual interest. And where does that information go? Well, on your profile itself, it's going to be down at the bottom where you have your interest area, way at the bottom. And the companies, any groups you're in, you can see how valuable schools can be. You don't have to limit yourself to a school that you attended. If you've got kids that are in a university and you're paying tuition, you can say, my son goes to the University of Maryland. He's enjoying his time there. And then go on with the request. Would love to connect with other people in the University of Maryland who have skill, who are alumni and have skills that might help him. So use other people's schools, follow them on your LinkedIn page under interests, and use them in your networking. It's one of the areas that isn't used as much as it could and can be a valuable way of connecting with people. Okay, questions?
If anybody has a question, you're welcome to unmute your mic and ask away.
I have a question, and I have a LinkedIn Premium, and I noticed that some people I can email for free, and other people it takes one of my credits. And I don't know how often I get the credits, and I'm kind of being stingy with them, but maybe I shouldn't be. So can you help me to understand those credits a little bit?
They have an area, let me see. LinkedIn Premium. They have something that deals with what Premium offers you these days. How interesting that it's not there. Well, it's definitely not there. To tell the truth, I'm not sure where they move that information, but if you are a first degree connection with someone, then you have, let me go to Jeff. Well, that wasn't enough, was it? There you go. Jeff and I are first degree connections.
Okay.
So he can message me, I can message him.
Okay.
But there's a limit to the number that you can have. So I think it's 10 per month. And after that, then it's going to be something that you have to pay for through your premium. And I think you get an additional 10 each month when you've got the premium package. It's the lower level premium package.
Yeah, I just looked it up here. Apparently you get 15 credits with the premium class.
Oh,
It says 15 in-mail credits, and then if you go to Sales Navigator, you get 50. And yeah,
okay.
Okay.
Nice to know. Thank you for looking that up that quickly.
you're welcome.
Where'd you find it?
I asked Google.
Oh.
I said, what are the different levels here?
Okay.
Apparently you get 5 in-mail credits on the free version. Oh, wait, well, let me back it up here. Oh, the premium career version gets you 5. So what I was telling you about 15 is the premium business one.
Okay.
So I think if you're just paying $30 or whatever, that's the premium career plan. That only gets you That just gets you 5.
Okay,
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, tell you what, I'll put the link in the chat window.
thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
There you go. Just stuck it in the chat window.
Okay. Other things that we can be looking at. Thank you for putting that in chat.
Any other questions somebody has?
Hi, this is Chris. Just a quick question. I'm not sure you can answer, but I find that if I search on a job title like product manager, which is what I'm looking for, and then I start to use the filters that are available, sometimes my results, I get a lot of non-product management jobs. I've tried playing around with it a lot of different ways, but any tips that you might have?
When you're looking for something like a product manager, you're right, there's a lot there. You generally want to go to the all filters. And in the all filters section, you're going to be able to put in an experience level, as many of those as you want. You're generally going to want to skip the company. Generally going to want a full-time job, whether it's remote. But at the bottom right-hand side here, it's going to show you how many they have left. And generally what you're going to be looking for is you're going to narrow it down by salary, because quite often a salary is going to be more of an indication of the level of responsibility you're looking for, and being able to narrow it down by title. So LinkedIn is going to give you the titles that are appearing most frequently on the original list, and being able to get out of that can sometimes give you a better list.
Maybe that's the piece I'm missing, because I've been using most of the others like salary and so forth. But,
Hey,
okay.
Ruth, can you do me a favor and put quotes around product manager and see if that number drops down? So we were at 188,000. Now we're down to 54,000. So it's possible that because if you put in product manager loose, it would come up with anything with product and anything with manager. Now that you put a quotes around it, that's a Boolean search. And what that will do is that forces it has to see those two words just together, just like that. So that may also help cut down what you're looking at.
It could, but remember that you're going to miss out on senior product manager. You're only going to be getting the product manager. So if you don't have the quotes, you get the whole family. And sometimes you don't want the whole family.
Right.
And being able to put it in quotes is a good one there too. Being able to use your industry is going to be an important one too, because a lot of times you're going to want to put in the industry that you're most familiar with. And the industry that they have on this list are simply the ones that have the most in these results at this point. So if you wanted to really be back in the automotive industry, you can put that in and narrow it down that way. LinkedIn has 148 different industries. Being able to narrow it down into the industries that you're most comfortable moving to will also eliminate a lot of extra ones here.
Great. Thanks for the tips.
You bet. Thank you, Jeff. Good stuff.
Anybody else? If you don't know what a Boolean search is, you may want to Google it, because it really allows you to narrow down some things. I use it all the time. I think it's really an effective tool. And you use it here in LinkedIn, you can use it on Bing, use it on Firefox, you use it on Chrome. Any search engine uses Boolean searches. So if you want more information, just Google it and you'll find out what those are. There's 4 common ones that you can use it. Very, very effective. All right. Any other questions anybody has? All right. Well, Ruth, thank you very, very much for your time. Great information today. I hope everybody has picked up a couple tidbits. Let me just share a few slides. We'll get out of here. If you would like to connect with Ruth, you're welcome to do so. This is her last fall presentation. I haven't got her spring flowers up yet, but you're welcome to contact her, send her an email, or send her a, connect with her. If you do, though, be sure to send her send a personal note. Let her know that you saw her here today. personally, I don't connect with anybody who doesn't send me a personal note. So I'm not sure. If
Oh,
Ruth-
can I say one more thing, Jeff?
Yeah, go ahead.
I noticed somebody in the chat is saying that they have hashtag ONO. Make sure you don't put any hashtags in your headline area because that distorts the search. So keep hashtags out of your headline and out of your title areas.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you very, very much. All right, so that's Ruth. You're welcome to connect with her. All right, next week, our speaker is going to be Kurt Vondermatter. He's a retained search executive at Linked Executive Search. He's going to show us LinkedIn from a recruiter's eye. He is looking for you on a daily basis. He's trying to find right candidates. Companies hire him to find the right candidate. So he's going to show us what the recruiting package looks like from the back end. It's really pretty amazing to see it, to see what he searches for. And it will be a really great presentation. So please be sure to join us next Tuesday. All right, I need everybody to please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeff Morris, promise to always send a personal note whenever I send a LinkedIn request to anyone. This includes when I use my cell phone or my computer. As Ruth said, you want to never click on a white connect button. If you do, it will send that generic invitation. Once you've done that, you can't resend an invitation. I get those all the time, and I don't connect with anybody who does that. So what you want to do is click on the person's face, click on the blue connect button. And when you do that, you will be able to have an option to send a personal note. So please, please, please always send those personal notes because that's the best way to connect with people. Career DFW and Career USA, we're putting on training 4 days a week. Please join us tomorrow for interviewing Wednesdays. Either we're going to be doing session number 1, preparing to be interviewed, how employment recruiters work, or we may have a live interview to watch tomorrow. So I've been given privy that there's somebody who wants to do one. They're willing to do it tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So we will see if we can get the panelists and everybody willing to do it tomorrow at 1. But either way, join us tomorrow. And if it is an interview, it will be on Zoom only. And I hope I can get Facebook working. I've got an email off to the Zoom people trying to figure out why I cannot connect to Facebook. So we will work on that. But we definitely will be on Zoom tomorrow at 1 o'clock. This Thursday, being the 4th Thursday of the month, we're going to talk all about networking, how serving turns into networking opportunities, volunteering, helping other people, how that turns into a great networking opportunity. Heidi Torres will be with us to answer those questions that you've got after her presentation. This Friday at the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group, Locke Alderson will be with us to talk about jumpstarting your LinkedIn jumpstarting your job search. If it's been a few months and you're sort of like in a rut, you're not sure what I should do next, join us. Locke's got some great things. We are meeting in person. So they meet every Friday morning at 9:30 in person at Christ United Methodist Church up in Plano, corner of Coit and Parker. Please come join us, or you can join us on Zoom or Facebook as long as Facebook is cooperating. If you want to join the Career DFW or careerusa.org LinkedIn groups, you're welcome to join one or both. You do not need to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to join the Career DFW group. We currently have over 14,600 members. So if you'd like to join, please feel free to do so. This session has been recorded. I will upload it to the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel. I know that was a question somebody had. We will get it up there. It'll take a couple hours for it to get uploaded, but once it's there, you'll be able to go back and watch it at your convenience. On the Career USA Facebook page, Career USA YouTube channel, click on playlist and then click on LinkedIn, and you'll see at the bottom it says view full playlist. That's where you want to click, and up will come a list of all the different dates and topics, and you can find whichever one you'd like to go back and watch at your convenience. If you're not receiving emails about our workshops and you'd like to join the Career USA mailing list, just send an email to CareerUSA, the +subscribe at groups.io. You'll never be spammed, but what you will get is the title of the day, the topic of the day, and most importantly, the Zoom link of the day. That way you can just click on that Zoom link and you can watch our presentation. Please remember, Career DFW, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Ruth is a volunteer. I'm a volunteer. Everything I've done has been to help you in your job search for the last 14 years. So thank you very much for joining us, and everybody have a great Tuesday afternoon, and hopefully we'll see you later in the week.